The Aviation Heritage Museum is planned to be a world-class tribute showcasing and preserving our area's aviation heritage. The museum will be a permanent home for many of the aircraft built and flown by our families, friends, and neighbors. It will provide education and inspiration to our youth. The museum will take its place beside acclaimed local sites like the Kimball Art Museum, Amon Carter Museum, our Stockyards National Historic District, and the new Nancy Lee and Perry R. Bass Performance Hall. It will honor the spirit of flight in us all. It will create a lasting tribute to the aviation industry and all that it's meant to this area and the nation. Is there historic precedence for an aviation museum? You bet there is. Aviation dates back to 1911 when Fort Worth's first recorded airplane flight was made by French pilot Roland Garros. 8 months later, the first ever transcontinental flight delivered the first airmail letter to Amon Carter. Meacham Field came into being in 1925. Here in 1929, C.R. Smith launched passenger service, known then as Southern Air Transport. Today, we know it as American Airlines. By the mid-30s, aircraft manufacturing in this area had sprouted wings. In early 1941, groundbreaking for the bomber plant ushered in an ongoing aviation development period that has seen more aircraft produced in this trade area than any other place on the entire planet. Since the early 1940s, more than 15 million Texans have been involved in aviation at North American, Chance Vought, LTV, Convair, General Dynamics, Lockheed Martin, and Bell Helicopter Textron, just to name some of the major players. Few places, if any, can boast of an aviation heritage as rich and varied as ours. Aviation picked up where cattle and oil left off in North Texas, spurring regional economic growth and turning heads around the world, and we are still at the forefront. As envisioned, the Aviation Heritage Museum will be a living, breathing aircraft venue with ever-changing exhibits to attract local enthusiasts as well as tourists and visitors. The museum will contribute to our community in many ways. The education and restoration facilities are designed for everyone from eager kindergartners to aviation experts. Novices as well as aviation buffs will appreciate the museum's edge-of-your-seat philosophy that promises to make aviation history a multi-sensory experience. Visitors of all ages will be entertained by a thrilling variety of dioramas and aircraft, both static and interactive, depicting aviation history and aeronautical principles. Specially designed areas will accommodate large-scale education and restoration projects, classes, lectures, and a flight academy. Through educational grants, the Aviation Heritage Museum will be able to help those outstanding young people who would not otherwise be able to pursue an education or career in aviation or aerospace. Location for the museum is a 13-acre site donated by Ross Perot Jr. at Alliance Airport. It will be constructed on Eagle Parkway on your left as you drive westward from I-35W. Close neighbors are FedEx, American Airlines Maintenance Facility, and Intel Corporation. The building itself is a very imposing structure. Measured from end to end, it stretches over 700 feet, more than 2 city blocks long. The hangar apex is as high as a 5-story building. The 205,000 square foot building is teeming with history and memorabilia. Inside, you'll find the Aviation Library, a world-class information resource facility housing printed as well as electronic materials, artifacts, and other significant data from the dawn of aviation to the space age. The library will include aviation history, plus provide special facilities for students reading, writing, and research. The museum will provide a distinctive venue for national and international conventions, as well as for local business and civic groups. Special events facilities are planned, such as conference rooms, auditoriums, and theater spaces that will host guests for social and entertainment gatherings. Meeting facilities will be available to serve as many as 300 for informal settings and up to 600 for formal dining among and around displayed aircraft. A gift shop appropriately named Wings and Things will be a place to buy books and gifts unique to aviation, from prints of displayed artwork to personalized flight suits. Peacemaker Hall is the cavernous centerpiece of the museum. This will be the permanent home for the giant B-36 Peacemaker bomber, which has been painstakingly restored especially for this museum. But that's not all this hall can hold. Aircraft can be suspended from the steel trusses, like model airplanes from the ceiling in a child's room. A helipad mezzanine penetrates the main hangar space, offering an expansive bird's-eye view of displayed aircraft below. On the mezzanine, rotor wing aircraft displays expose the mind to the technological developments pioneered by local companies. In the main lobby, ficus trees frame the black granite-faced Aviation Wall of Honor, a striking memorial that will bear the names of men and women, living or deceased, who have had some role in aviation, from the Rosie Riveter types to Top Gun pilots, from assembly line workers to engineers to flight attendants. The Hillard Room will be permanent home for the Charlie R. Hillard Trophy, awarded for excellence of accomplishment in the aviation industry. Recipients will be inducted into the Hall of Fame with their names inscribed on a giant granite-faced wall which partly encircles the majestic aircraft display pedestal in Horizons Plaza. Displays can be changed to accommodate traveling exhibits or for corporate purposes when applicable. Will our museum touch the hearts of aviation history buffs? Will our souls be grabbed by the enormity of aviation development on display here? Well, even if you've never limped home in a wounded warplane, nor held a control stick, nor riveted an aluminum skin, your soul will be stirred. Have we inspired our spirits to soar? If we educate a single student or cause even a single child to be wide-eyed in amazement at the marvels of flight seen here, then our mission will have been accomplished. With the Aviation Heritage Museum, we have a chance to do something that needs to be done, and to do it right, to commemorate the industry and all those who have been involved in it in a special way, and to preserve that heritage for future generations. It is appropriate that our museum is located on Eagle Parkway, for as surely as the majestic eagle flies, this is truly the place where history spreads its wings.